Good day, my dear students. I believe now you have some idea about the basic two concepts about Six Sigma and the JIT. What we are going to do, we are going to learn some more TQM application under this session. I'm Shamarudi Alvis, Professor Shamarudi Alvis, attached to the Department of Human Resource Management, University of California. Today, our target is to explain another two applications, benchmarking and then ISO 9000. Benchmarking and ISO 9000. Is because it is very popular application that has introduced by the Western people, because after 1950s with the arrival of Juran and Demins to Japan, the Japanese people work to they start to work with the quality improvements. They believe what they asked to do. Based on that, they got a very good improvement. Finally, they got a chance to become market leaders in the world. At the same time, can you remember that I told you it's badly affected the European, especially the American market? They are the people who lead the market. Under that scenario, some companies are going to react that. Without react, there is no chance to close down the business and go out. But it is. There is no point of it. If you have a threat, then you have to calculate and react it. You have to check whether you have a capacity to face it. You have to evaluate your weaknesses, your strength, to go against that rival's threat. This concept introduced by the Americans against the competition that they have to face. From the product that's come from Japanese companies. Xerox is the first company who introduced this. They merge this concept with other quality concept and implemented successfully. Later, at the moment, it has widespread all over the world. But before they start the session, it is better get some understanding about the history of it. I believe it will generate clear interest, high level of interest among you to learn more and more. To overcome issue, you have a number of tools. Within these 4 years, what we are going to do is we are going to enhance your capacity. With the different subjects, we will deliver different tool and techniques, application principles. Those are required at the time you are going to work as a manager. But no one can say this is the point you have to use it. You are the person who are going to take decisions to implement those applications. If you take if you use incorrect tool, if you use incorrect application, you can't get the results. Because of that, it is your hand how to apply, what is the point that you can apply. The way you are going to apply, everything depends on you. I advise you to read that case study that I have already uploaded to LMS. I believe you have read it. During the at the end of the session, you have to think whether I can answer this case study myself. Then you have to do it. And you have to send it today itself before 5 p.m. It is almost marks given assignment. I have already allocated some marks for it. Shall we start the session? Xerox. I told you it is better to, this is a good place to start the session. It will open your eyes to see how much it is important. The company was founded in 1906. At the time, it's called Hollite Company, a manufacturer and distributor of photographic papers. As Toyota started their business in the handloom industry, they start their business with the photographic papers. In 1947, firm obtained the commercial rights to ethnography. They are the people who have a rights to deal with it. Later, they renamed the business Lloyd Xerox Company in 1958. The company introduced 940 extrographic copier in 1959. That is the first photocopy machine. That was the first one. The company changed its name, Xerox Corporation, in 1961. At the moment, it has again changed to the Xerox Fuji PLC. The company invented the photocopier in 1959 with almost monopoly for many years, because they are the people who introduced it. At the moment, they got the right for it. Because of that, they have got an opportunity to capitalize it almost 20 years. Because of that, at that time, they had a monopoly. They are the only manufacturer of it. They are the only manufacturer. In 1960s, what they make, they have had a chance to solve those. Then you can see the profit, the revenue, and so on. In 1970s, the ROA, return on assets, almost 20%, because very low competition. Some have entered the market, but after finishing that copyright, some have entered, but it is very low competition. High sales, they have strong patent, no focus on customers. they never concern about the customers. They just what they can make, they are going to sell it because they have a high demand. No focus on customer means they never concern about the customer satisfaction or quality. In 1917, after their copy patent expired, and it's found itself radically losing market share. Oh my God, at the moment they lost it. They have to face a huge competition. The level of loss profitability of year by year is more than 20%. That because J just manufactured and sold it. I think you have idea about that production concept, that what marketer can make, they are going to sell it. By 1980s, company lost almost 35% of the market. They are the market leader, but unfortunately, by 1980s, they almost lost 35% of the market because IBM and Kodak developed high-end machines, and Canon, Ricoh, and Sebi dominate the low-end segment of the market. That market can be divided based on the requirement different by considering customers' requirement. They can divide that based on the high-end, middle-end, and low-end customer segmentations. The low-end customer group totally attacked by that Canon and Ricoh. 1983, according to the prediction, Xerox will be close with $2 billion. My God, up to 1970s, they are the market leaders. However, after 13 years, it was predicted to close down for $2 billion. What were the reasons behind it? High level of rework. That means they didn't match the expected specification at the correct first time. Then they have to do rework to match the requirement. Scraps, if those cannot be sold. Excessive inspections. Again and again they have to do the inspections. They were running with number of issues, quality issues. Can you remember that we have discussed those issues? They didn't take any preventive actions. They just made what they can. They made what they can. But after Japanese people enter the market, they produce very quality products. Their products quality levels were very high. Then quality means customer satisfaction. That Japanese people can satisfy customers better than the American Xerox. The problem underlying the importance of the strategic change by innovation of quality. Now they have realized that there is no way. Now we have to change our strategic way of thinking, the way of practice. We have to think the way of react. Then they realize the importance of the improvement of the quality and productivity. Then they were going to concern about that benchmarking. They come with a package of strategies. One strategy is the benchmarking. They started to conduct that continual improvements programs. That's introduced by Japanese people, Kaizen. But the problem is, if you are going to work with that Kaizen or continual improvements, it is very difficult to reach competitors' level within short period of time. Kaizen or continual improvements concern about the very small improvements. They are going to do small improvements day by day. Everything time they are going to think what is the best method to do the job. That is the culture of the organization. Every time they are going to do the job better than yesterday, better than the previous time. Yes, it increases the quality, but it takes some time. It increases the quality, but it takes some time. But at the time we are going to improve, my competitor also in the same process, they will enhance, they will develop, they will work for the improvement of the quality. Both are working for the same target, same achievements. But at the time we are going to start, they were far in front of us. The gap in between my competitor and me is very much high. Then I can't depend on the continual improvement only. We have to do radical changes. We have to go for the innovation. We have to go for the benchmarking. First of all, within a short period, what we have to do is we have to match what's my market's leader produce, how my market leader perform. I have to reach that point as soon as possible. Then after that, we can go with the Kaizen and continual improvement. If it is not, we can't beat them. Our ultimate target not to be a follower every day. When we concern about the Xerox, they were the market leaders, but they have lost the market. Now they want to change it back. They realize that continual improvement is very much important, but it was not enough at that moment. It was not enough at that moment. Then they implemented bundle of strategies that help to change the current situation to the expected situation within short period of time. The benchmark is a part of that strategy. At the time that Xerox implement that benchmarking strategy, first of all, what they did, they compare their performance with the competitor. Here you can see the differences that they have found. Five times the number of engineers. Oh my God, that increased the labor cost. It's looked twice as long as the Japanese competitor to bring the product to the market. My God, that the cycle time is almost twice. We have changed the design 4 times. That means we didn't perfectly match with the customers. Time to time, we are going to adjust it. The design cost is almost three times when it's compared with the Japanese competitor. Cost of ship and sales unit for about the cost of ship and sales unit for about the same amount. That cost just the manufacture thing. Their sales price almost equal to our manufacturing cost. Based on the price can be your competition. No, there were no chance. Their sales price almost equal to our manufacturing cost. Then we can't sell the manufacturing cost. We want profit margin. Then we have to add manufacturing cost plus profit. Then our sales price is higher than the competitors, that the Japanese product price. That's the issue that Xerox faced. Product had over 30,000 defective part per million. Oh my God. It is 30 times more than the competitors. In other words, when Japanese found one defective one, we have found 30. Xerox has found 30. You know that each and every point you cost of quality, no, there are poor quality expenses. At the same time, you know that if we can eliminate those things, we can reduce the cost of manufacturing, cost of unit. Not only that, they recognize the weaknesses of the supply management system. Can you remember what Deming told? He has to develop long-term mutual relationship based on the trust. Xerox compared their supply management system with the Japanese companies and found Japanese companies had only 1,000 suppliers, while Xerox alone had that Japanese companies put together all together had 1,000 suppliers, while Xerox alone himself had 5,000. Oh my God. The Japanese companies work very close. The Japanese companies work closely with the suppliers. They have a very close relationship. Because of that, they can implement just in time. They don't want to keep higher stock in their stores. that that suppliers are ready to provide small quantities to match with those Japanese companies' production schedules, but Xerox failed to do it. That was another point that they have recognized. Then after that, they went for that benchmarking program. Those are the benefits. Xerox achieved. Customer satisfaction was increased by increase the number of satisfied customers. Highly satisfied customers for the copier, duplicator, and printing systems increased by 38 and 39%. For the copier duplicators, 38, and printing systems of the 39%. That's huge. That customer complaints declined more than 60%. Customer satisfaction with the Xerox sales process improved by 40%. Service process increased by 18%. Administrative process increased by 21%. Later, Xerox defined benchmarking as the process of measuring products, services, and processes against its toughest competitors. Identify the gap, establishing goals. Our goal is always to achieve superiority in quality, product, reliability, and cost. They set the quality policy, they work for it. Benchmarking was the strategy they have used for it. What are the points they have used it? For the improve the processes, for the improve the products and services. In other way, now you have idea. We can use that benchmarking. We can use that benchmarking for product, service, process, or any practices of the organization. I believe now you have some idea how much it is important to learn. You know that what is cost of quality, what are the areas that you have to address to minimize that cost. Some can eliminate, some can minimize. We know the strategy by using preventive actions. First of all, we can minimize, we can eliminate poor quality cost, failure cost, internal and external failure cost. Secondly, we can minimize the appraisal cost. Then it will help you to minimize your cost. On the other hand, it will help to increase the margin, profit margin. That is the gap in between the sales price and the cost. The benchmarking is one way that you can address. Here, another point you should keep in your mind. It can be applied for the different places, products, service, and practices and processes. Now your management asks to implement a program, benchmarking program within your organization. Now you are going to evaluate your you are going to analyze your internal situation. You can find number of areas that you have to address. Don't forget. Then we have to prioritize the areas that we need to address. First, we have to find vital few to address first. Vital few. Because we have to think about the impact of the program. Again, I think you can remind another statistical tool that you have already learned. This is the process implemented by, this was the process implemented by the Xerox. Please go through that. Here you can see 5 stages. Planning, analyze, integration, action, and maturity. This is a continual process. Under the planning, first of all, they identify what to benchmark. First of all, it has to be done. Find the benchmarking partners to whom we are going to do it. With the market leaders or competitive or other competitor, or can we do it internally with our separate unit? Likewise, you have to think about it. Then after that, determine the data collection method and collect the data. There are a number of ways that you can collect. Some are very costly, some are not. Then you have to recognize what are the most reliable sources that you can collect the information, collect the data. Under the analyze, you are going to determine the performance gap, expected level and current performance level. That is the gap. Then after that, what is the expect? We are going to set the project, the future performance level. Within a 1 year, we can't reach higher level targets. Can you remember that at the time we are going to discuss objectives? It should. Can you remember that we told you it should be smart, realistic, measurable, time bound. Can you remember those things? Achievable, specific. Here also the same. Suppose this year just we have a 5% of market share. Within the year, we expect to be the market leader by getting more than 45%. Can we do it within 1 year? Oh my God. Third one, integration. Communicate findings and gain acceptance. You have to get the support from others. Then what you have found from the organization, you have to communicate those things. Then after that, you have to set the functional goals, departmental wise. Then action, develop the action plans, implement the specific action and monitor the progress. Not like Sri Lanka, from 1948, our government has developed 5-year, 10-year, 7-year plans. They were just printed document, not the implemented ones. According to Professor Nayakar, he clearly mentioned it. You have to implement it. Under the final one, but if it is implemented properly, then it has to be integrated with the current system of the organization. It has to be done. If it is not, it will be vanish. Same thing, you can see that. Identify the benchmark. Inputs to progress fully integrated with our organizational practice. The same thing elaborated with another way. Here you can see the change in benchmarking and quality strategy in rank Xerox. In 1959, they introduced 914 copier. In 1972, they can realize that competition increase. 1979 is started the benchmark program. 1980s they started quality circles. Within 3 years they won. Sorry, leadership through quality initiated. 1989 they won the Bulbridge Award, that is the quality award that company can, the highest level of world award that company can won. In Sri Lanka also we have quality award. This is the American one. In Japan it's called Deming Award, Deming Prize. It's now after 1990s they reached the expectation, then after that they continue with the continual improvements. See that first of all what they did, they if they are going to use the continual improvement, they can't reach the expected target. First of all what they did, they use that benchmark to match with the competitor, to be the leader of the market. Then after that, they convert that into the day-to-day practice, continual improvement. Here you can see the progress of that organization. It has summarized the previous situation of the after situation. You know the previous situation. That's 500 suppliers. They have reduced to 400. They introduced vendor certificate process. They try to train. They start to train the suppliers. With that, they got opportunity to start work with the just in time. It's another session that we are going to do at the beginning. Just in time, I think you have an idea what it is. Just in time is, that is a way that we can minimize our inventory. It's not, someone call it is no zero inventory. No, sometimes we have to keep something with the, at least in process, with the in process and with the input. Now we are going to enter the session. Those are the learning outcome. It's better to read 1 to 8. Explain the purpose of benchmarking. For what we are going to do benchmarking. Define benchmarking. I have given more than 8 to 9 definitions. What you have to do is, at the end of the session, you have to summarize and see what are the differences, how can develop my own definition based on those given definitions. Explain the phases of benchmarking. Yes, at the time we are going to implement it, we can recognize three steps of it. Why benchmarking? What are the benefits of it? Difference between the market research, competitor analysis, and benchmarking. Difference between market research, competitor analysis, and benchmarking. Next one, explain the step benchmarking process. Recognize appropriate type of benchmarking for different situations. if you read the case study that I have uploaded to the LMS, then you can see what really want. We know we can read and learn different type of benchmarking methods, but if we can't apply the correct method to the correct place, as a manager, you don't have a success. Last one, factors influence for the success of benchmarking. Advantages and disadvantages of the marketing. You know that without a higher top management commitment, we can't do those. We can't implement, we can't do any change within the organization without top management commitment. At the time I discussed that quality circles, I clearly mentioned it. It can be applied for each and every point, not only the quality. We can't do any changes within the organization without approval of without the high level of commitment of the top management. Likewise, here what we are going to do, we are going to learn the factors that influence the benchmarking. Then finally, advantages and disadvantages of benchmarking. It is a strategy, but we can't apply it for each and every point. Don't forget it. We are going to learn different techniques, but it cannot be applied to everything for everywhere. Now we are going to learn one by one. Okay, shall we start? Learning outcome number 1. Explain the purpose of benchmarking. If you know the enemy and know yourself, then you need not fear the results of 100 battles. Think about that phrase. If you know the enemy and know yourself, you can't benchmark without knowing yourself. You are going to compare your strength, your capacity, your skills with others, your competitors. Then first of all, you should have proper idea what you are doing. What's your level? Then after that you have to think about your rivals. If you know the both side perfectly, then you can go for any battle. Purpose for the benchmarking. Comparison of performance levels to ascertain which organization achieves superior performance level. Comparison of performance levels to ascertain which organization achieving super performance level. Think about yourself. We don't want to think about the companies or their performance. Think about the average human's behavior with the neighbors, what their neighbors achieve. The average woman wants to achieve the same. What they are going to do, they are going to compare the neighbors' lifestyle with their lifestyle. If there is a gap, they are going to work for it. Every time they are going behind the husband and complain to achieve that target. Think about yourself. At the time you are going to get B plus, Sama is going to Sama already has taken A or A plus for the some subjects. Then you can compare yourself with that superior performance. You can compare your performance with that superior performance. Then after that, if you want to go there, then you have to build a plan to achieve it. Comparison of performance levels to ascertain. In a one hand, you have your performance, other hand, you are going to compare with the superior performance. Then identification, you have identified, you are going to adopt and practices to superior level of performance. Identification, adoption of the practices to lead to reach that superior level of performance. Not only the compare, it's just create the jealousy. As an individual, you can compare with others, but you don't have plan to go there, get reach that. You are not working for that. No point. First of all, you have to identify the point that you want to go. Then you have to set a target for it. You have to work for it. Then you can achieve it. It is a common for our personal life also. Learning outcome number 2, define benchmarking. From this point, I have given number of definitions. Read carefully and recognize the areas they have addressed. What is it, to where, how, the way that they are going to work with it, everything you can gather using those different definitions. Benchmarking is a method of measuring and improving organizational performance. As a country, every time we are making, we have reports, we have information, we know our GDP, we have a level of our imports, we know the level of outputs, we know the ingredient of those. We have a plan, but we are not going to implement those. Benchmarking is a method of measuring and improving organization performance by comparing themselves with the best. We are just going to compare with Nigeria. It is better now to compare with them, not the Singapore. Then after that, we have to set the plan to achieve the targets. For the organization is the same. Within the department, university also, we have to do the benchmark. We have to conduct the benchmark. We can benchmark the other departments who are performing well. Not the entire department activities, the best practices of them. First of all, what we are going to do is we are going to recognize the way that we are performing. Then after that, we are going to compare the performance of the best practicing departments. Then after that, we can recognize the gap, and then we have to develop a plan to achieve that. Sometimes we can implement the same program, but sometimes it cannot be done. Don't forget that statement. We can't implement the same program implemented by the superior organization or superior company. Why it is? Think yourself. This is the definition given by the CEO of the Xerox company. Benchmark is the continuous process of measuring products, services, and practices against the toughest competitor or those companies recognize the industry. This is a definition given by head of the Xerox. Marketing is a continuous process. Sorry, benchmarking is a continuous process Benchmarking is a continuous process of measuring product, services, and practices against the toughest competitors, so the companies recognized as the market leaders. That is the way they have defined. That is the way they have recognized benchmarking. But they compare with toughest competitors, market leaders. And based on that, they did corrective actions. They implemented that benchmarking program. Another definition given by the CAMP. Benchmarking is the search for industry best practices. Yes. Search of industry best practices that lead to superior performance. Search is enough. Is it enough? Searching. Every time we are going to following and recognize what they are doing. Is it enough? It is not enough. Then after that, we have to do something to reach that superior performance. A process of finding a world-class examples of product, services, or operational systems. Then adjusting on product, services, and system to meet or beat those standards. See the difference from the CAMP and Gabber? The process of finding a world-class examples is going to say that's the only way that they can reach system world-class. The process of finding a world-class examples. Is it important each and every time? Product, service, or operational systems. What are the areas? Product, services, and operational systems. And then adjusting your own product, services, and systems to meet or beat, or what are good words? To meet, to reach that level or beat them, to perform better than them. Then it is a benchmarking. Ongoing process, continuous process of measuring, improving product, services, and practices against the best. They have mentioned that it is a continual process. There is no end. Again and again, you have to going to conduct it. Ongoing process of measuring and improving product and services against the best. Another one, method of finding how improve processes quickly by learning from others who are dealing with the similar issues. Yes, yourself you can find the answers. Other way you can get the experience from the outside. They have already faced the same problem and overcome it. Now they have mentioned other side of that. A kind of performance improvement process by identifying, understanding, adopting outstanding practices, not only the identifying as mentioned by the camp, and identifying, understanding, and adopting outstanding performance. Not only that, from the within the same organization, sometimes we can copy the same process from the within the same organization. Suppose we have different branches. When we compare with them, some outlets providing their customer service within very short period of time. When we compare with other places, can't we copy that method to our other outlets? That is internal, some same organization or from other organizations, right? By one by one, you can see different people address different points. At the end of the session, you will realize that all the characteristics can be put in the one basket, and you can develop a good definition to define what is benchmarking. It has to be done. Other definition. A continuous process comparing organizational performance against that of the best of the industry, considering critical consumer needs and determine what should be improved. In addition to that, you can see that they have mentioned customer needs, critical customer needs, and determine what should be improved. You have to recognize what really customer want. When based on that, you have to get the action to develop it. Another point of it. Benchmarking is a systematic way to identify superior performance and practices that are adopted to a process in order to reduce cost. They are going to say number of other factors: reduce cost, increase the cycle time, cut inventory, and provide greater satisfaction of the internal and external customers. Right? I told you I have to write down that all the definition in one page and recognize the special points that they have mentioned. Then after that, by amalgamating those, you have to develop a definition. You can see that they can be applied for the product and services and practices or processes within the organization. More broadly, benchmarking can be applied to any area where you want to compare performance and learn from others. The definition also specifies that we want to benchmark against either our toughest competitors so that we know where our strengths and weaknesses in relation to them. In one hand, it's automatically give a real idea of who we are. Sometimes we don't know what are our strengths and weaknesses clearly. Sometimes we are happy to show our strength, but we are going to hide our weaknesses. Hide is not the suitable strategy. You have to eliminate those. You have to convert that weaknesses into the strength. That is the way that you have to work. It's another benefit actually. It's indirect benefit. At the time you are going to introduce that benchmarking process, first of all, what you have to do is you have to evaluate yourself. here, very good diagram. Please go through it and see what is it. Here you can see almost like a process. In a one hand, what is our performance level? How do we do? What is the method that we perform? What are the others' performance level for the same? Then how do we get there? First, internal and external evaluation. Then after that, special point, creative adoption. Can you remember that I told you that sometimes we can't apply the same process, procedures within our organization. We can't bring the same practices to our organization. Our culture is different, our resources are different, our way of thinking is different. We are going to plant Japanese method in our country in the same way. Can you do it? Can we get the same outcome? No, we have to think creatively. We have to think whether we can adopt the same thing in the same way. Based on the culture, based on the way of thinking, way of working, we have to do some adjustments. By considering our resources, can we develop another Singapore in Sri Lanka? Every time we are going to talk about, we are going to compare with the Singapore. Unfortunately, one of that their leader, based on the one of their leaders' statement, actually is misdirected totally. We have to adopt creatively. The resources are different, the way of thinking are different, everything different, but we are going to reach that point. It is very much, it is not the way. Then we have to think creatively before adoption. Then we have to develop a plan to break through the performance. Learning outcome number 3. Explain the difference between the different phases of the benchmarking. Under the first one, what we are going to do it, we are going to compare expected level of performance with the current performance that we have reached using the continual improvement or without continual improvement practices. In a way, that is the current performance level of us. When we compare with our market leaders or superior persons, we have realized that there is a gap in between their performance and our performance. Then what we have to do is, first of all, what we are going to do is, we are going to do internal analysis. Then after that, to measure the gaps, we are going to recognize market leaders' performance in those areas with the performance criteria. We have a performance criteria. Based on that, we have recognized our performance. Secondly, we have recognized external performance. Now we are going to compare what is the difference or gap in between that superior performance and our performance. If there is a gap, we have to reach it. Others' performance and our performance. After internal evaluation, what we are going to do is, we are going to compare those. internal performance and the external performance. Then we have recognized gap in between our one and best performance. It is not enough. Then after that, under the third phase, but we have to work for it. Improve performance often by learning from others. Third stage. Improvement due to adapting and improving practices found during benchmarking. We have to work for it. We know ourselves. We know actually what others have achieved, but we don't have a plan to go there. There is no point of it. The stage number one is the important part. If you sometimes you waste your time to find your information, sometimes more than 50% of the time that you are going to spend for the benchmarking process, you have spent to recognize yourself. That means to compare and apply those things. That means you don't have time to do it. But unfortunately, this is the current situation. We have to convert from it. If you want to develop yourself, if you want to develop our organizations, our country, this is the way that we have to work. Why benchmarking? Why benchmarking? It's provide a way to satisfy customers. We have a market leader. Market leader means is the person who provides the product to a higher number of customers. They are the people who have higher level of sales. High level of sales means they have done sales better than us. That's why they have become a market leader. That means higher number of people satisfied with their product, not with our product. By reviewing their ones, we can recognize really what customer wants. How do they recognize customers' requirements? What are the strategies they have implement for it? Do we do the same? Or what are the differences from customer surveys? Can't we benchmark that customer survey method with the superior leader to recognize and apply it? Define the best applicable processes. At the time you will think, still sometimes it is in you have a dilemma. Can't we apply those to the service organization or any other government organization? No, we can apply it everywhere, not only the manufacturing organizations. Where is the process? Then you can apply it. Sometimes the tea that you make can be drink anyone, because you never benchmark how to make it by your mother. Because you don't know the level of tea leaves that required to make a one tea. You don't know how many minutes it wants to required to boil it. At the time you put boiled water into the tea leaves, you are going to add the sugar and milk. If you benchmark it with your mother's way of working, that is internal benchmark, within the organization, within this premises, you can do it. You don't want to go and see how Parent Sons or any other organization make a tea. That is external. Define the best applicable processes. What you are going to do is you are going to draw a flow chart with all the steps and the time and the ingredients that you are going to put. Then after that you can evaluate how your mother do it, how mother makes it. Then after that you can recognize the areas that you have to develop. You can improve your processes based on that. Identify your competitive position. You know where are you. Increase the effectiveness, efficiency, and the adaptability of your processes. Effectiveness, efficiency, and adaptability of your processes. The level of adoption, the level of changes that you can do. Increase the efficiency of the process to get maximum results from the inputs. That is the increase of the efficiency. Helps to set attainable but aggressive targets. Attainable one, achievable ones. But in one hand, it is aggressive targets. When we concern about our organization, most of the time, end of the year, they have to present annual budgets. There is a budget meeting. The directors of the company, they call budget meetings. Then managers has to present their departmental budgets. What is the most easiest way to think about it? They can have 5% or 10% for the current budget and prepare a new one. Is it an aggressive budget? Is it an aggressive budget? They can attain it, but it is not aggressive budget. In 2002, the Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe introduced a new way of budgeting system for the government organization. That's called zero budgeting. He asked to calculate each and every item without considering the previous budgets. Then as a government officers, what we have to do is we have to calculate everything from we have to calculate everything that from the beginning. That is a radical change he has done in 2002. But unfortunately, that government was run only 1 year. In a one hand, by using that, he closed some government organization, including the organization that I worked that time. Fortunately, I got opportunity. It is a chance to go out from that. It's created a chance to go out from that organization. If it is not still myself, Professor Kennedy Gunawardena, Professor Gamini Dialwis, Dr. Basnayaka, Dr. Lalit Veeragoda, who is the HRD Sampath Bank, then Mr. Dr. Kulasuriya, Managing Director NIBM was there. Still, sometimes we were there. Then, because of that, we got a chance to go out from and see the world. There is a way of working here that you can see attainable, not aggressive budgets. There can be, most of the time, managers are going to set the budgets that can easily achieve. They never concern about how competitive works, how it's affect to the final outcome of the market share. No, nothing. Just to survive. Just to survive. We can break that bridge and go ahead by using that benchmark. Allow you to protect future trends in your industry. Time to time, you are going to evaluate how your market leaders, other competitors are working. You have an idea of what are the real trends in the market. If you are isolated, if you are not going to think about the outside environment, it will help to close down your organization easily. It will help to prioritize improvement activities. Without knowing the external situation, without knowing what are the areas that market leaders highly concerned, we are going to do the improvements. Sometimes those are not significant impact. But we have an idea really what it is going on outside our internal background. Then we can adjust, provide the organization with the competitive advantages. Competitive advantage. It's automatically provide competitive advantage. We can recognize. It's in some industries, different people focus on different competitive advantages. Can you remember that Porter suggests different strategies? Low cost, differentiation, focus, and so on. We can recognize what is the competitive advantage that we have when we compare with other organizations. Create a continual improvement culture. Now, not like previously. We are not going to depend on the annual percentage increase budgets. We are working for the improvement. Every time we are going to work. We are going to work to satisfy internal and external customers. That suggestions, new methods are highly encouraged by the top management and the middle and all the managers, right? Under this, we can develop this type of organization culture within the organization. Improves the relationship and understanding between the benchmarking partners. Suppose, as I mentioned in our case study, that organization has, suppose one organization has fast food restaurant outlets all over the country. Suppose the two of them are running the same business in Sri Lanka. They are the main giants of the industry. Unfortunately, they can see with the open economy that with the under the franchising, there are a number of multinational brands into the current local market. It is a competition. Because of that, that traditional outlets will lose their market. It is common for the each and everyone. Each and every traditional outlets. They are making the same thing. The threat is common for two organizations, all of them. Then they can share their knowledge to develop their processes. They can achieve through their competitors, but now they have to face, as a team, they have to face again the giant. Can't we share our best practices among to improve our processes, our product and services? That is another way to think. A little bit difficult learning outcome, different between market research, competitor analysis, and marketing. Because at the moment you don't have much more knowledge about the market research and competitor analysis. You have idea what benchmarking, but you don't have a very good idea what is market research and competitor analysis. Because of that, I am going to explain little bit of those two and going to compare. As a marketer, to recognize, to identify market segments, you know what is market segment based on the different features of the market. We are going to divide our market into the segments, because by using a one product, we don't have a capacity to satisfy each and every one. There are now a few products in the market, they are going to satisfy each and every one, but when we concern about the other majority of them, what they have done is they have divided the market by using different factors, demographic, geographic, then psychographic, and etc., into the different segments, and they are going to satisfy the one or two groups, or that they can satisfy better than others. Then based on that, they are going to place the product in customers' mind. We call it as a altogether as a STP strategy: segmentation, targeting, and positioning. Right? To identify, analyze the markets, the customer segments, and level of product acceptance. To deliver the product, we can use the P4 or P7 based on the product or service. We have different strategies to implement. Then we want to know whether what is working better than the others. What are the good promotional strategies? What is the good pricing strategy for the product? Likewise, we have to identify. For that, what we are going to do is we are going to conduct market research. Competitor analysis. Analyze competitive strategies, what it is. Suppose you are running a small bookshop, if you, at the same time you want to increase your monthly sales, what you are going to do is you are going to introduce now promotional strategies within your organization. Suppose we are going to give some additional. At the time that students buy 2 books, we are going to give a pencil free of charge. Likewise, we are going to bundle those things, and we are going to promote it. There is another bookseller in front of your bookshop. He's going to do. Do you believe he? What do you think about the reaction of that competitor? What do you think about it? How to react? What is the way? Suppose you are the person. What is the way that you are going to react for it? Because you know that because of that promotion, it will badly affect your sales because you are also selling books. Think yourself, what is your strategy? Someone can say, yes, this badly affected my sales. Because of that, I am going to use the same strategy. It is better because then I can survive. Someone can say, yes, okay, they can go with it. I know his financial capacity. He can't run that business promotions long term. Within a short period of time, they have to drop it. First person doesn't know anything about the background of the competitor. Second one knows the real situation of the competitor. He knows the financial stability of the competitor. How many days that sales promotion can be hold? How many days they can continue it? Likewise, that all. At the time we are going to enter the market, and the time to time, what we are going to do is we are going to evaluate our competitors' real situation, their strengths and weaknesses, their strategies. Some are going to work to be the market leader. Some are quality conscious, some are price conscious, some are working for the short-term profit, some are working for the long-term profit for the survival long-term within the industry. Likewise, different organizations work for the different targets. If you know their financial situation, their way of challenging, sometimes at the time you drop your price, they are going to drop the price. At the time you are going to give some additional some sales promotion, they are going to do the same. Some are not. They are going to evaluate how much that strategy impact to the organization. If it is badly influenced, then you are going to react for it. If it is not a harm to your organization, for whatever we are going to think about it. The way, this type of objectives behind the competitive analysis. Under the benchmarking, what we are going to do is we are going to analyze what, why, and how well competition and leading organizations are working. Not the strategies, their way of performing. Under the market research, they focus what customer needs, how they react. Under the competitive analysis, it focuses on the competitive strategies implemented by the different organizations. Price, place, promotion, product strategies, then TP strategies. So benchmarking, under the benchmarking, business practices which satisfy the customer needs. We are going to find the business practices which satisfy customer needs. When we concern about the application, the market research focuses on the product and services. Competitive analysis, marketplace and the products. Business, under the business benchmarking, you can see that they are highly focused on the practices, business practices. Those are the first place. The second one is the product. Under the market research, we are going to find how customer needs are met. That is the ultimate target. This is the limit. We are not going beyond that. Competitive analysis, we are going to recognize we are going to recognize the activities of the each within the marketplace. Under the benchmarking, not only the competitive benchmarking, in addition to that, we are going to use the functional internal benchmarking also. When we concern about the information resources, you can see a difference again. Under the market research, it's focused on customers' information. Under the competitive analysis, it's just industry analysis. However, with the benchmark, we are going to recognize, we are going to focus on industry leaders and competitors in the field. Next, the benchmarking process. This is very important segment of your session. You are going to learn how to conduct benchmarking process. You are not a writer, you are going to implement. You are going to implement those things. Then you should have idea what are the steps of it. If you read number of books, if you go to the number of websites, the steps have been divided into a number of ways. Sometimes you will confuse. But if you read those carefully, you can see the same thing they have divided into a number of steps. Because of that, I'm not going to ask you to rewrite those steps during the exams. But only the thing you should have idea what are the activities that you have to perform under each one. Sometime I will ask to prepare action plan for the benchmarking process. I believe you know how to make an action plan, PERT plan. I'm not going to give. Not going to teach what it is. I just asked to prepare a benchmark implementation plan as a manager. Then you should have idea what are the steps that you can implement at the once. What are the steps that you have to implement after one step? Because you are going to merge, you are going to connect those activities to each other under the activity plan. Because of that, be careful and hear and get maximum knowledge on it. It will help to develop one. If you think it is better to develop yourself at now, today itself, it will be very much beneficial for the exam. If I ask, then you can use that document directly. At the time, you don't want to think about how to make it because you have idea how to make it. Benchmarking process. Select a subject to benchmark. First of all, what you have to do is you have to select the topic to benchmark. There are a number of things you can recognize the gap in between you and the superior ones. Unfortunately, with the limited resources, you can't address all the thing at once. Then you have to find the vital few. That is actually executives and the senior management target. They have to recognize. They have to involve that process, design the process of critical for the success of the organization. What are the critical points that influence for the organizational success? What are the critical areas that influence the organization's success? You have to recognize those points. You have to address for those. What are the areas that directly influence for the increase the wealth of the organization? You have to think about it. You have to develop a set of benchmark that you can do. Based on that, you have to identify what are the vital ones, what are the priorities. Then after that, you can start to collect the information. It's a management task. At the time, there should be an objective in your mind for what you are going to do a benchmark. Then, based on that, you have to go work for it. There are a number of selection criteria. Here I have mentioned few. Increase the customer satisfaction. Introduce new policies to the organization. Based on the cost of core quality. The current issues that the organization has faced. The critical success factors of the industry. internal measurement systems, performance against business models and other factors that you are interested. You can set and develop. However, it is better to concern about the stakeholders around the organization. It will give a better hint to develop a list that you have to give the priority. Read this carefully. Here you can see the area that we have to focus. At the time we are going to, this is the one matrix that we can apply to recognize benchmarking topics. I'll give a few minutes to go yourself. Here you can see 4 types of benchmarking topics. Then after that, they have suggest one method. For that, they have used 2 criteria. One is impact of performance improvement. The level of impact for the improvement of the performance. Yes, you can select a topic. Some are very low impact to the improvement of the performance of the organization. If you select some topics, they will give higher level of impact to the performance of the organization. Right? Based on that, you can divide into the 2 groups, high and low. Topics that generate higher level of performance, topics those generate low level of performance, high and low. At the same time, by using another criteria, you can divide those topics into the 2. That criteria is current difficulty in achieving need performance improvement. Current difficulty in achieving performance improvement. By using that, you can divide those into the 2 groups, low and high. In a one hand, you have divided the topics into the 2 groups. Again, by using another one, you have divided into those into the other 2 groups, high and low. Those criteria are current difficulty in achieving needed performance improvement. Impact of performance improvement, level of impact performance level. Based on that also, you can divide the low and high. By amalgamating those 2 criterions, you can develop a matrix. Then you have a 4 type of topics. One called do it. It is with a low difficulty to achieving needed performance improvements. Low level of current difficulty to achieve in the needed performance. At the same time, however, it has high level of performance improvement. Level of difficulty is low, but the level of achievements is high. Improvement is high. That's why we call it do it. Another one here you can see back burner. When we concern about those points where current difficulty achieving needed performance is very low, but at the same time impact of performance improvement also low. Current difficulty in achieving needed performance improvement is low. At the same time, that impact of performance improvement also low. Then there is no point for go it. Those are we call back burners. Third group, don't do it. Current difficulty to achieving is high. It is very difficult to achieve. Current difficult to achieve. It's not an easy task. We have to do effort to achieve it. But unfortunately, level of improvement of the performance is very low. Is low. Current difficult to achieve needed performance improvement is high. The current difficulty is achieving needed performance is high, but the improvement level of the performance is low. With the high effort, we reach low achievements for what it is. Don't do it. The benchmarking topics that you have to select. In a one hand, it is not easy to achieve. You have to do effort for it. You have to work for it. Current difficult to achieve needed performance is high. However, its impact to the improvements also is high. Then you have to think whether we can achieve it easily. What is the level of performance? By using that also, you can select the areas that you have to prioritize. You have to select the priority areas by using those two criteria. Current difficulty of achieving needed performance improvement and impact of performance improvement. It is very difficult to achieve, but it brings low level of improvement for what it is. Don't do it. It is very difficult to achieve. However, difficult to achieve that we have to do some effort to go there. Yet it is must, but the level of performance is high. That is the area that we have to touch. Other two, difficult to achieve it very low, but there is a chance to get higher level. Then everyone can do it, no? Then you can think about why we are not going to focus on it during the benchmark. We can do with other work. Only the thing that the hardest difficult ones. If you go that beyond, then we can reach the market leader and touch with him. But others are everyone can do. There is a impact of it, but the problem is everyone can perform it, right? I think now you have a better idea what it is. Number two, second step of the process. Decide which organization or companies now we have recognized the areas that we have to benchmark. Now we are going to find the organization to benchmark. Determine if you are going to benchmark process with your own company, competitor outside the industry. Carefully read that statement. Determine if you are going to benchmark process with your own company or competitor or company outside the industry. Competitor, that means competitor is within the industry, or company outside the industry. Then it is not a competitor outside the organization. We are making guns, they are making guns, but we are going to benchmark them. How? This is the thing that you have to think. There are ways to go there. Shall we go ahead? Then only the thing that you can recognize we can do within our organization with our competitor or market leader. That means say within the industry or outside the industry, right? It may be hard to collect the data if you want to benchmark the direct competitor. Is it true most of the time that they are going to cheat us? Sometimes think about your friends, their behavior in front of me, something different. They are going to show they are not going to learn anything. They are going to spend time to enjoy. But at the time they enter their premises, their behavior is something different. They are going to read and learn things. It is the hide side of your friends. It can be happen because they don't like to show how they perform. Sometimes you can remind some friend's name yourself now. Sometimes you will think, oh, this is the way that I am using, behaving. It is very difficult to compare with, get support for the benchmark from your competitive organization. You have very tough rivals every day. If you are going to compete with each other. At the time you change your strategies, they are going to react to you. Can you go and ask to do a benchmark? Then how can we do in future? We will discuss within this lesson how to do it. So you should select different organization study in order to get the data you need. That's the one way that you can use. You can't compare one organization for everything. You can select different organization for the different purposes. Based on that, you can collect the relevant required information. You can gather the information by using different sources. Sometimes you have to collect primary data. Sometimes you can collect the secondary data also. Those are more beneficial. I believe you know what is this primary data and secondary data. What is the difference of it? Primary data is the data you are collecting yourself for your purpose to achieve your objective. But the secondary data has collected for the other purpose, not but you can use for your purposes. Sometimes before that you have to do calculation or adjustments to get the real idea to match with your purpose, right? Yeah, I have mentioned number of different types. I mentioned number of different types. Internal, then competitor outside the industry. See this picture and recognize those areas. Within the brackets, we can see the industry. Outside the industry, within the brackets, we can see the industry. Again, within the organization, also we can do the benchmarking. We call it internal benchmarking. Then within the industry, sometimes we have to conduct that competitive benchmarking. Within the industry, we have to compete each other. That's why we call it is a competitive benchmarking. Outside the industry, we don't have a competition each other. Our target market, our competitors are different. However, there is a chance to learn from them. We call this type of benchmarking external benchmarking. Functional bench, sometimes we are using for that to functional benchmarking, not for the direct product, enhance the product or service, to enhance the application and processes of the organization. Here you can see that 4 type of benchmarking based on the previous picture. Internal benchmarking carried out between the groups within the organization. Carried out within it is very easy, sometimes very easy, because the same culture, same voice, same way of practice, then we can easily conduct that benchmark within the organization. Competitive benchmarking carried out between the competitors who are who by definition will be in the same industry. We are going to satisfy the same customer by customer's same need. Non-competitive benchmark carried out within the industry between the non-competitors. Glaxo is going to use the methods that is introduced by the Smith. They are not the competitors, but they are in the same industry. Cross-industry benchmarking carried out between organizations in different industries. Because of the different industries, they are not the competitors. Under the non-competitive benchmarking, I can give another example. One is going to do the same business in Norelli, another one is going to do the same business in Jaffna. Their customer group are totally different, but they are going to provide the same thing. Suppose both of them are running in small hotels. Or restaurant. They don't have any competition, but both are in the same industry. They can support each other. They can support each other to enhance their processes, products, and services. Within the industry, non-competitive benchmarking. Navy people can follow the same story methods that applied by the Army people. That Defense of Ministry can recognize that Navy has applied the most efficient way to use for some practices, they have applied the correct, most efficient practices, then the Ministry of Defense can advise others, armed forces to apply it. That is a benchmarking within the same industry. Suppose education ministry recognize one school introduce a new way of teaching to the students, it is more efficient. Then after that, government education ministry is going to pass a new circular to implement those same practices in other organizations, other schools. Non-competitive benchmark within the same industry. We can easily apply that supporting service processes from the outside the industry competitions, non-industry benchmarking. Because those are less sensitive. Suppose now each and every, most of the organization has to keep and maintain a customer service care unit. Then different organizations practice different methods. But later you have recognized one organization, it is not within your industry, has introduced a better practices for the customer service. Can't you benchmark it? Yes, you can go for it. You can go with them and make an agreement, and you can send people to learn it and do it there, because there is no, or sometimes less commercial sensitivity, no competition. Number 3, document the current processes. First of all, what you have to do is, can you remember that I told you have to make a process of tea making? Likewise, first of all, you have to do we have to develop your process. You have to recognize the activities of the processes. You have to map it. Then you have to compare it with the others. It will give a better understanding what are the areas that you have to do. Develop yourself without compare outside also. It will help to minimize the time. It will help to increase the quality, increase the productivity, minimize the waste. The way, first of all, what we have to do is we have to draw down our processes, way of working, and so on. Collect and analyze data. This is the 4th step. In some time, it is very difficult, because if you are going to gather the competitors' information, most of the time those are confidential. You can gather the information through research, interviews, casual conversation with contacts from the other companies. Sometimes you can use the formal interviews and questionnaires for that matter. You can collect secondary information from the website, reports, marketing materials, and news articles. However, the problem is those are not reliable because they have collected those information for other purpose, not like primary data. After collection of the data, all the stakeholders jointly analyze those. It should be analyzed. Here you can see a very good analytical method they used by one organizations to recognize the level of quality of the information that they have gathered. There are a number of ways that they can use to get information. By at the same time, they have used number of factors to check the quality of those information. You can see the count of amount of data, accuracy of data, sample size, response data, cost per the interview, time requirement, flexibility, special skills, and administration. Based on that, they have given some value each and every method. They have recognized mail, phone, visit, and focus group as a method that they can collect the data. Based on the recognized criterion, they have given marks 1 to 5. By using that, they have decided what is the most suitable method that they can apply to collect the relevant information without depending on personal opinion. Depending on personal opinion is not the proper way to work within the organization. Some are going to suggest some method by personal experience, just depend on their beliefs. However, if you can conduct proper methods to recognize the most suitable one, it will automatically help to get quality decision. Measure your performance against the data you have collected. Now you know your process. Here you can see 2 processes. What they are going to do is here they are going to measure your performance against the data collected from the outside, from your competitor or your non-competitor or any other organization that the information that you have collected. Here you can see the same process. They have taken 2 to 3 days. The benchmark process, they have done the same thing within the 20 minutes. I can remember that we myself and another consultant introduced one money loan issuing process for that mortgage bank in 2000. We introduced to reduce the time for the 1 day. At the moment they take more than 30 days to issue a loan. But I don't know whether the practices that is the way that they perform. This is another government organization. As a consultants, we got assignments when we applied, but I don't know the way of practice. They didn't benchmark the practices introduced by ourselves. I think so. This type things. Then in one hand we have analyze our process. At the same time we have information about the process that we are going to benchmark, right? Look the data you have collected side by side when the metrics are gathered from your analysis and own process. One point to one point you can analyze. Sometimes you can develop a better process than your competitor, right? However, that collected information will give better understanding how they perform. Can you remember that I told you this is the one that you are going to compare, but sometimes you can't adopt the same thing. You have to do it creatively. Your adoption should be done creatively, right? this is the one. Then after that, you are going to compare with those two to recognize. This is another point. Can you remember that? Check the gap and we are going to address for it. Create a plan. Now you know what is your level of performance, what is the way that you are working, what is the way you are performing, how your competitor is performing. Now you are going to create a plan to achieve that. Create a plan to implement the changes to match or close to the performance of the superior. Then you have to address each and every point carefully. The plan must be clearly defined goals. It should be written with the company's culture. Don't forget creative adoption in mind to help minimize the pushback you may get from employees. You, as a practice, you know that resistance to change is common. You will learn it in future. You will learn in depth of it. How to manage the changes. Change management is another subject. At the time you are going to change your current practices, definitely people will come against it. Then how to get their support? Without knowing the culture, the way of react, way of believe, way of act, then we can't do it. Resistance to change is a good thing if we can apply it as a positive way. Don't forget it. But at the time we are going to make a change, if you are going to do without considering the real background, real culture of the organization, number of barriers that we have to jump is very much high. Because of that, don't adopt the things as a package. You have to convert into the way of working within your organization. Here you can see one is the best practice. Another line is your practices. You can see interchange those lines in a one point. Thereafter, you are the superior. Then they will follow you. They will benchmark your process. For that, you have to work. That is the projection back. Not only the match, we have to go better. We have to work better than them. That's another method that we can use to match. The spider diagrams. Number 7, implementation the changes. Most of the time, our people, all of them are very much. We have built the skills to prepare a plan, not to implement the plan. Because we didn't monitor closely. We didn't monitor closely what are the changes and how employees perform with it. If the processes are not running smoothly as expected, then we have to identify the areas and react. We have to rechange. We have to do the readjustment for those points. You have to check whether the employees have understand the changes near their new jobs, whether they have changed, trained properly. If it is not, difficult to change. Document all processes is not enough. You have to give an opportunity to employees to access those. You have to give clear instructions to do. The last one, repeat the process. Now you have prepare, first of all, what you have to study the internal environment. We recognize the benchmarking processes. We have given priorities of some ideas. Then after that, you collect the information from the outside. Then after that, you collect the information from outside. Sorry, you select the benchmarking organization. You collect the information, right, by using the primary and secondary data. Then after that, you compare their performance and our performance, their processes with our processes, right? Then you have recognized the areas that you have to address. Then you are not going. You check whether we can apply the same thing in the same way, or whether there is a requirement to do the changes likewise. Then we implement it. For that, we are going to train employees. We are going to document all the things. We are going to give clear instruction. Time to time, we are going to check whether it is performing well or not. Right? Then now everything is okay. It is performing well. Now what we are going to do is we require to continue this process continuously. We have to work with that process continuously. We have to repeat it. If the processes are running smoothly, we have to convert that new practices as a general practice of the organization. Those are the areas that we have to cover under the process of benchmarking. Now we are going to learn different type of benchmarking method. Before that, I'm going to give you 5 minutes. Now, learning objective number 7, different type of benchmarking methods. Under that, you should have a capacity to compare and recognize most suitable, most appropriate benchmarking method for given situation. I'm not going to ask, but define the different type of that benchmarking method and the benefit and limitations during the exam. It is very easy. You can get the paper and copy it, cut and paste, right? This is the way that you are going to check. But in the case, I have given one question because then you can remind the areas that you have to learn. Internal benchmarking. Before that, I had to told you that different books, different authors given different categorization for the benchmarking. Those are correct. No one incorrect. But here I'm going to use one method without giving all the methods to your mind. It will bring a you definitely you will confuse with those. That's why, right? It is the easiest method. Under this we are going to discuss only 4 methods. Very easy to understand, right? Internal benchmarking. Internal benchmarking is a comparison of business processes to a similar process inside the organization to acquire the best internal business practices. We have a branches, we have a sections, we have a different workshops. They are free to apply and practice different methods. Later we have recognized some practices are very much better than the others. It will reduce the scraps, it will increase the efficiency, it will increase the quality, or likewise with our targets we can recognize the best practices. Why don't we apply those practices within the other within the organization to the other departments or other sections? Because it will increase the way of satisfying our customers, internal or external. That is internal benchmarking. Those are very much cost effective. This is the first benefit that we can get free. Very much easily, relatively easy. Sometimes for what we are going to do that workshops method, We have our own method for what we are going to copy. Likewise, different people come with the different ideas. They will think benchmark as a copy. So benchmark is not the copying. If it is not copying, we have to adopt the same thing in the same way. We are going to adjust based on the place and the requirement. It is very easy, very fast. This is a good practice or training for the benchmarking processes. Before entering the outside benchmarking, this is a good practice for the benchmarking. Very easy to share information. This is the way easy to transfer the lesson already learned within the organization. You know, within the organization, we are following the same culture. We are not going to plan outside thing within the organization. There are practices within the organization, but we are going to implement in another place. We have same language. It will give a deeper understanding of your own process. We are going to readjust the same process that we are practicing. As I mentioned previously, this is a very good starting point for the greater benchmarking methods. You can create, you can get the support from the organization because those are the methods implemented by the employees who are same organization, not the outsiders. However, there are some challenges. Limited options to growth. We can't see the outside. We are going to see the inside improvement. We are going to do the changes with those things. Low performance improvements. We don't know really what outside. What are the changes? We don't know those things. Just by considering the internal improvement, we are going to do. By using that, we it's create a competitiveness between the inter-departmental, inter-outlets, internal workshops. In a one hand, it's good, but in a one hand, it can badly affect it. It can be badly affected. It is not much of stretched, small improvement. It is highly focused on the internal. It is internal bias one. It never concerned about the world-class performance, just internal best performance. Competitive benchmarking. Competitive benchmarking is the direct competition, direct competitive comparison based on the product, service, process, or method. In a one hand, it will give you a better understanding who you are. At the same time, you can recognize the level of competition that you are going to face. At the moment you are facing. But sometimes we can join each other against another big to face another big giant competitor. We can share. What are the benefits and challenges? Main benefits are know your competitor better than previous situation. This is a good opportunity to learn real background of your competitor. It will help to develop possible partnerships. Because 1 plus 1 not equal to 2, it is less more than 2. Useful for planning and setting goals. Because you know your competitor well. Challenges difficult legal issues in some because of the legal issues. Sometimes you don't have a chance to enter the information. Because of that limitation, they don't have no one give a chance to get the real information because it creates low level of performance improvements. We can't get the trade secrets. Sometimes they will give misleading information. It's not a best in class comparison. You are going to compare with your competitor. At the time you are going to go do a benchmark, they will capitalize, but your weaknesses also. It is a harm. Functional benchmarking, third one. Functional benchmarking is a comparison to similar identical practices with the same or similar function outside the immediate industry. Sometimes within the industry, sometimes outside the industry, similar functions. We are going to compare the functions within the industry or outside the industry. Functional benchmarking might identify practices that are superior than your functional area. Sometimes within the industry, sometimes outside the industry also you can find those things. As example here, I have given airline companies comparing their customer service to subsidize hotel services, not the airlines. Whatever the portion they are providing customer service. If you want to enhance increase the level of efficiency, level of quality of it, then you can go for it. Functional benchmarking. Those are the limitations and benefits of it. Provide industry trend information. You can compare quantitatively. You are going with the better place because of that better improvement rate. Problem is you are going to get support from the different industries, means most of the time differ from the different cultures. Not only that, there are number of differences between the different same function in different industries. It will take more time than the internal ones, internal benchmarking. Last one is a generic benchmarking. Here, what we are going to do is we are going to focus excellent work process rather than a business practices particular organization. We are not going to focus the entire organization. We are going to focus on the specific processes, work process. don't forget it. We are not going to copy in same organization to organization. We are here. What we are going to do is we are going to focus on the some specific process. Suppose one organization introduce sales promotion campaigns in a successful manner. You have realized that that is a very good method they have applied for it. You can benchmark it. It is a generic benchmarking, just only that process, that what they have followed. You are going to get insight from that excellent work processes, rather than the business practices of particular organization or industry. Whatever the industry, you can go and copy from it. What are the benefits and challenges? High payoff, more about 35% in some cases. Non-competitive, not threatening. It can be touched the broad area. We have to adjust with the new perspectives. Very much innovative. High potential and discovery is another one. We can examine multiple industries, can compare with the world. However, we have challenges. It's a difficult concept. It is very difficult to recognize the best practices because they are in a different fields. It will take a very long time to plan it because we are going to match the applications. Have a good day, my dear students. We have meet again to discuss another very important topic under the subject of total quality management. Quality standards. Quality standards. ISO 9001. What are the areas that I have to cover, I have planned to cover within this time period, within this section, within this lesson? First of all, I would like to give a brief introduction about what is ISO 9000, what is ISO 9000. Secondly, my plan is to explain what my plan is to define ISO 9000. Then I will, my third one, under that my content, then after that I am going to discuss the uses and importance of the quality standards. Then after that I will bring your attention to the international standard for organizations, ISO. Then ISO 9001, ISO, history of the ISO 9001. Actually, different people use that ISO 9000 for different purposes by deviating from the actual purpose. Because of that, as a graduate, we should have a proper knowledge for what we are going to use it. We have a proper idea, we have a proper knowledge. What is the real purpose of using it? Then you can realize the deviation from it very easily. Then I am going to explain the importance of the ISO 9001. Then I am going to explain the Deming's PDCA model. Next one is the 7 principles of the QMS 2015-9000. This is the upgraded new version of ISO 9001. I'm going to explain the 7 principles of QMS 2015-9001. Finally, features and benefits of it and advantages of it. This is the steps that I have to cover within that session. When we concern about the learning outcome of the session, you should have a capacity to define it. What is ISO? You should have capacity to explain the benefit of the ISO. You should have a capacity to present the evolutions of it. History of the ISO. The real, what is the, you should have capacity and explain the real importance of the ISO. The major, most important one is the present 7 principles of quality management system ISO 2015. One day you might be the administrative officer, ISO representative of the organization at the time you are going to implement within the organization. Then you should know everything in a perfect manner. This is a foundation for that. This short session will give a foundation, will set the foundation for it. Shall we go one by one? The product is said to be quality if it is free from any manufacturing defect, deficiency, or significant variation in order to certain specific standards. The product is said to be quality if it is free from manufacturing defects, deficiency, or significant variation in order to show certain standard need to be set so that uniformity is achieved in the entire set of product we manufactured. As an organization, our ultimate target is profit maximization through satisfying and delighting customers of the organization. Quality is customer satisfaction. Quality means customer satisfaction. If you are going to provide what customer expect, then they will get satisfied with it. If there is a gap in between the customer's expectation and what we deliver, they will not satisfy with the product. They will not satisfy with the product. Because of that, we have to set the standard and have to work with it to achieve it. Then we can satisfy the customers. Then we are going to set the specification standards to get reached. We are going to measure with it. If it is not, we don't know whether we have deviated from the expectation or not. Whether we have deviated from the expectation or not. We recognize the customer requirements, recognize the customer's voice, convert that customer's voice into the product specification. At the time we are going to design a product, set the standard based on that product specification. We are going to manufacture the product or service based on that specifications. Then that specification automatically becomes the standard. The quality standard is a detail of the requirements, specification or varied guideline or characteristics to be able to meet its quality by product in order to meet purpose of the product process or service. That standard represent the requirements, specification and varied guideline and characteristics. Those are the requirements to meet by the product or service that we are going to manufacture. That is the purpose of it. The standard is a detail of the requirement, specification and various guidelines and characteristics to be able to meet. Yes, we are going to meet customers' requirement, but at the same time, we have to think about the government regulation and rule and regulation. If they have mentioned something to achieve, we have to achieve it. If it is not possible, there is no way to go ahead. The requirements, specification, various guidelines and characteristics, that those are the things that we have to meet. Then we can say it is a quality product. Then we can say that is going to achieve, meet the customer's expectations. ISO international standards are the most widely accepted set of quality standards adopted majority of firms across the countries. Within the country also we have standards. We have a separate institution called ISSI. They are going to set the product and service standards. Product standards. However, that ISO international standard is the world widely spread standard all over the world. It is the one widely adopted by the majority of the organization all over the world. In some cases, it is a must. In some cases, if you don't have capacity to export to a product, that customer is not going to buy those products if it is not, you didn't match that requirements. Today it has become a mandatory requirement. It is a must. You have to go with it. If there is no chance to survive. If you want to keep and maintain and increase market share, if you want to keep, maintain and increase the market share, it is better to go with this type of standards because it's automatically develop the trust among the customers. It will help to create a high level of trust among the customers. Then they will keep and buy your product continuously. If it is not, they will go for the products that they can give the standards. The people who are following the standards. Because of that, as an organization, today, under today's environment, it has become a must factor. You have to go with it. If it is not, it will badly affect your reputation. Because some people are going to advertise it. They are going to market it to attract the customers. To attract the customers, they are going to market it to attract the customers. Under this scenario, if you want to keep and maintain your market share, it is better to go with the standards. You are going with the standards means that customer believe that you are going to provide the product that matches the customer's requirements. Then they are going to believe you. They are going to trust you. Then they will stay with you. Because of that following a standard is very much important. When we concern about the standard, ISO international standard are well widely spread. At the time you are going to enter the international market, it is an added value that you have. If it is not, then it is a minus points against your bit. What is quality? Quality is the ability of a product or service to constantly meet the exceed of customers' expectation. Not only one time, continuously should be happen. Able to meet product or service. That product or service should have capacity, ability to meet customers' requirement or exceed the customer's requirement continuously. Then it is a quality. Not only the one time, every time it has to be happen. Not only the one time, every time it has to be happen. The standard, something set up and established by authority as a rule for the measure the quantity, weight, extent, value, or quality. The standard, when we're concerned about the standard, we can define it as something set up and established by authority as a rule for the measure of quantity, weight, extent, value, or quality. The separate organization can set the industry or product or service standard as a rule. It will help to measure the quantity, quality, weight, value, and etc. Then you know the quality and the standard. What is the quality standards? The quality standards are defined as a document that provides the requirements, the specification, guideline, or characteristics that can be used consistently to ensure that materials, product, process, and services are fit for their purpose. Quality standards. Quality standards are defined as a document that provide requirements, specification, and guidelines or characteristics that provide requirements, specification, guideline, or characteristics that can be used consistently for what? To ensure that materials, product, process, or services are fit their purpose. Uses and importance of the quality standards. Uses and importance of the quality standard. It satisfies customers' quality requirements. That is ultimate target, no? If you don't have capacity to satisfy customers' requirement, there is no chance to survive. Or developer, we don't expect any growth of the organization. You don't have a chance to see the growth of the organization. Satisfy the customers' quality. If we have a capacity to satisfy the customers' quality requirements, they will stay with us. They will continually buy it. But that's why it is very much important. If we are going to follow the standards, we have set the procedures, methods, systems, guidelines throughout the organization. We are working according to that. That automatically help to minimize the deviation, and every time we can match the standards. Ensuring that product and services are safe. If you set the quality standards, it automatically ensures that we are working to make a product or service. It is not harm or damage to the customers. Complying with the regulations. Without complying the regulations, there is no chance to survive. As a member of the entire society, we have to follow the regulations set by the different authorities. That following standards automatically help to comply with that regulations, meet the environmental objectives. It is not just only focus on the organization, but also help to keep and maintain a very good environmental requirements. Protecting product against the climate or other adverse conditions. That is another one. Ensuring the internal processes are defined and controlled. That means you have recognized the main processes, sub-processes, you have recognized the combination of those processes and so on. You have recognized the you have developed the process plan. After that, you have developed the sub processes for each and every point. Likewise, it will help to keep and maintain the internal process or define a control. You have defined it, you are working with it, you are going to maintain that. The quality isn't just about the profit or loss, where is the outcome factor. Quality is not a profit or loss or beating our competitors. Unfortunately, it is the most popular application of the quality standard today in the world. They are going to say that quality as a competitive advantage. They are going to use they are going to use it as a marketing tool. However, it is not the actual application of it. To assuring safety and reliability of the product and services. It will help to reduce the cost of the organization. Each and every time you are going to match the requirement, it means it will automatically reduce the deviations. It improves the competitiveness because at the time you are going to bid, you are going to export your products. They are going to buyers, that customers are going to evaluate whether you are going to follow that standards. Then only you have a chance to go for that market. Not only that, if you are following that, customers are also going to believe that your products are products and services are good, safe, and quality. Then based on that, you can develop improve your competitiveness. And ultimately, you can expand your market to the global. Not only that, you can increase the level of customer loyalty. But it's ISO, sir. International Standard for Organization, ISO. International Standard for Organization, that is the abbreviation, ISO. International Standard for Organizations. It was founded 23rd February 1947. It is a independent, non-governmental, international organization with the membership of 162. National standard bodies. It is up to the 2016 now, more than 5 years back up to now. It might be increased more than that. It was founded in 1947. It is an international, independent, non-governmental body. Not only the international organization with the membership of 162 countries, national bodies. It's promote worldwide proprietary industrial and commercial standards. ISO 9000 2015 is a one standard. In addition to that, you know that there are a number of standards they are going to provide. They have a number of bundle of standards. Though its embassies bring together expect to share knowledge and develop voluntary market relevant international standards, consensus-based standards that support innovation and provide solutions to global challenges. That is the ultimate target. They working together to share knowledge and develop voluntarily consensus-based market relevant international standards that support innovation and provide solutions to global challenges. And up to the 1960s, they have published more than 21,000 standards. Those are related to documents covering standards and related documents, not only the standards, and related documents covering almost every industry from technology to food safety or agriculture and healthcare. They have published more than 21,000 international standards and related documents. Actually, those are covered all the industries, including technology, food, agriculture, healthcare, and so on. What is ISO 9001? ISO 9001 is the international standard that set out requirement to companies to include in a quality management system. ISO 9000 focuses on the organization to act on processes that affect the quality of product and services they provide to ensure they are consistent to meet applicable requirements. That organization ultimately is going to provide any product or service to the market. That ISO 9000 is going to help, is going to set the environment to provide that product or service continuously to satisfy customers' requirements. According to ISO 9000, ISO organization, ISO 9000 was a standard set out for the requirement of quality management system. It is going to help to develop a quality management system within the organization. Ultimately, it will help to business or organization to be a more efficient and improve customer satisfaction. That, in other words, that quality management system's ultimate objective is to satisfy or deliver higher level of customer satisfaction. Under this scenario, that ISO organization define ISO 9001 as a quality management system that help organizations to be more effective and efficient and improve the customer satisfaction. To be more efficient and improve the customer satisfaction. That is the ultimate target of the top quality management system. ISO 9001 is going to set that requirements within the organization. Simply, we can say that quality management system is a collection of business processes and functions aimed at continual improvements of a quality to ensure the customer's expectation and requirements are met or exceeded. As example, under the lean, under the Six Sigma or TQM, our ultimate target is to reach that We want to ensure customers' we want to make a product or service that ensure the customer's expectation and requirements meet or exceed. If we meet with, we know, then they will satisfy. If it is exceed, then they will delight with it. Then we are going to settle lean culture, lean Six Sigma, TQM culture within the organization to get reached. That quality management system is a collection of business processes and functions. That is, its final aim is the continuous improvement of the quality. Then for what it is going to improve the quality, to ensure the customer's expectation and requirements are. Then we can meet the customer's expectation or exceed these customers' expectations. In other words, we can say that QMS is a method which companies can ensure responsibility, schedules, relationship, contacts, and agreements are on par with the environmental, food and product and safety standards. Here you can see the brief history of the QMS, quality management system. As you know, ISO 9000 is a part of the ISO 9000 quality management system family. ISO 9000 was introduced, published in 1987. Then after that, it was major revised in 1994 and known as a quality management system, again minor revised in 2000 and 2008. And finally, current version is ISO 9001 2015 that is the final one. ISO 9001 2015 it is totally based on the British standard BS 5750 series of standard BSI that were cooperated ISO in 1979. Now, our current version of quality ISO 9001 is ISO 9000 2015. It is based on the British standards BS 5750 series of standards from BSI that were proposed to ISO in 1979. What does ISO 9001 do? And what are the importance of ISO 9001? ISO 9001 provide with a framework to build quality management system that support your intention to continually improve. We know we have to focus on the customer. We have to work for it continuously. That quality management system, ISO 9000, provide a framework to build a quality management system within the organization. That's final intention is to work continuously for the improvement. It's follow the PDCA principles introduced by the Deming. Plan, do, check, and act principles. It is focused on the continual improvements. It's also led you to focus on the priority areas first and foremost. We are running with the limited resources, then we have to focus on the priorities. That system is going to give support. QMS is going to support to recognize the priorities. As I mentioned previously, ISO 9001 provides the outline for the importance of the high quality goods or services. It provides the outline to outline the importance of the high quality product and services. Also, when any person find increased market rate or high struggle to be differentiated, the ISO is a key to help you to sustain and nature in the market. In a one hand, if you are struggling in the market, that is the one method that you can use to overcome from it. Because ISO 9000 helps to improve the businesses. It will help to increase the overall efficiency of the organization. It will help to increase the business credibility and the authority as well as the overall efficiency of the business. What is the PDCA model? Can you remind that? Plan, do, check and act. We also call it Deming cycle. This is the way that you can use small projects to improve the process continuously. It is an element of the total quality management as well as the lean management. PDCA model was developed in 1950s by William Deming as a learning and improvement process based on the scientific method of problem solving. Deming used another name for that is Schwartz cycle, because he has developed this idea based on the Schwartz ideology. Here you can see four steps. First of all, planning. First of all, you have to plan for what you are going to do. You have to recognize the issues of the process, product or service. Then after that, at the time, you will find number of problems. First of all, what you have to do is you have to prioritize this. You have to give the priority for the issues. Then you have to select the one. Then after that, you have to collect the data. Then you can use different quality tools for that manner. Ishikawa has mentioned 7 quality tools. You can apply those for that planning stage to recognize the data, to analyze the data, and provide the solution to overcome the issue that you have recognized. What are those? What are the quality tools? Process flowchart, check sheet, Ishikawa or cause and effect diagram, Pareto diagram, then scatter diagrams, then statistical quality control, and so those are the tools that you have to follow. And the bar chart, those are the things that you have to follow. Those are graphical presentations that anyone can understand, that average person also can understand. That's why they recommend to use those things. That any person within the under continual improvement is not a part of the leadership or management role. That each and every person who are responsible to the work activity He is the person who is going to work for the improvement. He is the person who knows everything of the point better than the others. He is the person who knows everything about the workstation better than the others. He has recognized all issues. He knows the issues of everything because he has every day he has to work with it. At the same time, he is the person who can bring the solution for those things. But when we concern about the floor level employees, they don't have a capacity to scientifically analyze the issues, set the priorities, find solutions, collect the data, find solution and implement those things. Because of that, Ishikawa introduced those 7 quality tools: histograms, check sheets, pattern diagrams, scatter plots, then cause and effect diagrams, statistical quality control, and process chart. Then after that, after developing solution, what they are going to do? They are going to implement it. You have set the new solution for it. You are going to implement it. Then it is not enough. First of all, what you are going to do is you are going to implement it for it as a pilot project, not for the entire process. Then after that, what we are going to do is we are going to evaluate this performance. Then you have a 2 type of performance: prior to implement and after the implement. Then again you are going to use that 7 quality tools to collect the data, to check the variance, and so on. Then if it is successfully work, then what you can do is you can set the standard based on it. You can develop the standards to apply for the entire process. Then you can act with it and go for the next PDCA cycle to find a problem and overcome it. It's a cycle. There is no end of it. Continuously it is working. That is the PDA cycle. Now I am going to bring your attention to the very important slide. 7 principles of the QMS 2015-9001. Customer focus, leadership, engagement of people, process approach, improvement, evidence-based decision making, relationship management. At the same time, at the beginning when I explain the main principles of the total quality management, we have touched that all the areas. Customer focus. Can you remember that we prepare 3 bench stool and put that customer on the table, stool? That organization not focus on the engineer's perspective, it is going to focus on the customers. It is going to focus on the customer. The organization start with the customer, that process is going to end with the customer. First of all, the organization is going to collect. This organization is going to collect what really customers want. Not only that, they are going to recognize the future needs further. By using that stated and implied needs, organization is going to design a product to match the requirement of the customer. That is the start point of the process. Then after that, they are going to get the materials that are matched with the requirements. They are going to train the staff that people can manufacture that product or service without any deviations. In a one hand, we can say those are preventive actions. The organization is going to build a very good relationship with the suppliers. Then they know what really we are working. That organization is working. They have merged with it. They are going to provide their service. They are going to provide the long-term service to reach our ultimate target. They know if we achieve our ultimate target, it will help to automatically help to achieve their ultimate target. Then after that, after designing a product by considering customers' choice, we are going to make the product. We are going to make the product. It should be matched with the requirement. If it is not, we don't have capacity to satisfy or delight our customers. Then after that, we are going to deliver that product to the customer. That is a customer's focus. Leadership. The leader is the person who have to set the vision and mission to the organization. He's the one who have to set the values and policies for the organization. He's the person who have to set the customer focused culture within the organization. He's the one who has to encourage the others to work for it, the organization. He's the person who has to build a culture that responsible for the society. Responsible for the society. His commitment and active role. It is a vital factor for the quality management system. It's an active and vital factor for the quality management system. The engagement of the people. Engagement, active engagement. Engagement is not the work, it's a large difference from the doing a job and engagement. Under the engagement, they are happy to get responsibilities. They are ready to get any accountability of the role. They have to play any additional activities than their day-to-day performance. They have already become a part of the organization. Each and every time they are going to think about the organization, at the time they are going to make a decision. That is that type of engagement we have to develop. Then they will provide the ideas. They will provide the ideas to overcome organization issues. If they see something goes to the bad direction, they will come and help you to make the corrective actions. It is not happened automatically. The leadership has to play a big role. They have to encourage people to be engaged with the organization. Today, it is a very important factor to consider. Motivation is something different. Within an organization, we can see a different type of people. Some are very much engaged, some are lightly engaged, some are not. The quality management system is supposed to increase that level of people engagement. It used the process approach that the entire organization has recognized as a process. You know the process. It's converting input into the output. That process is start with the customer and end with the customer. The ultimate target is to satisfy the customer. Within the process, we can see a number of sub-processes. Those are integrated to satisfy that external customer. First of all, they are going to satisfy the internal customers. One department is a supplier of another department. There is we can see within the department also we can see a supply customer relationship. Within the jobs also we can see a supply customer relationship. That organization is going to recognize as a process. That organization is going to work for the improvements. Not only the financial improvement or market improvement, we have to think about the customer base improvements, employee base improvements, society base improvements. As an organization, we have to work under that quality management system, work for that total improvements. Generally, organization just concerned about the financial improvements and the market improvements. They will say ROI is that much, the market share is that much, the profit margin is that much, like that. It is not enough. That as an organization, we have to think about the other areas. Employee related performance, societal related performance, product or service related performance, process related performance. Everywhere, every time we have to work for the improvement of those areas. Evidence-based decision making. That organizations depend on the information. Organization is going to make a decision based on the information. They have given a higher priority for that. They are not going to make that quality management system. Under the quality management system, it is not going to make any decision based on the personal opinion. They are going to collect information relevant to the market, product, processes, employees, competitors, industrial changes. That everything we are going to collect. Based on that, it is going to make a decision. Based on that, it is going to make a decision. They are going to build a very good relationship with the suppliers and other outside parties, the partners, buyers, subcontractors. They are going to build a very good relationship. They are not going to train their only staffs. They are going to train and update, keep and maintain and update the knowledge of the employees of the other relevant organizations. Because they know higher level of percentage of their final outcome represented by the suppliers' materials. Then that directly influence for them. That directly influence for the quality of the final output. Under this scenario, that quality management system focus on 9001 system focus on the 7 principles: customer focus, leadership, engagement of people, process approach, improvement, evidence-based decision making, and relationship management. Those are the set of fundamental beliefs, norms, and rules and values of that system. That quality management principles can be used as a foundation for the organization for the development. We have focus on the customer. Leadership is going to direct the organization. We are going to get higher level of engagement of the people. Everything have recognized as a process. Each and every, we have divided that sub processes again and again, and I recognize the input output controls people and so on with the in the procedures with each and every process. We have done a proper adjustments for the each and every processes. We are not going to base on the just financial performance. We are going to evaluate the market, product, process, societal, environmental, employee related information for improvements. Every time we are that management system is going to make a decision based on the facts. Ultimately, as a last, they have built a very good relationship with the other organizations for the win-win approach. It is a win-win approach, not the win-lose approach. It is a win-win approach. They are developed and updated by the international experts of ISO TC 176, which is the responsible for developing and maintaining ISO quality standard. At the time you went through the means 14 principles, those are there. At the time you went through the TQM principles, those are there. Then you can see that if you can work for the quality management systems, automatically you have worked with that principles. Features and benefits. The requirement and belief of the customers. It represents the requirement and beliefs of the customers. The quality policy and quality goals are very clearly defined. It should be defined. Organization quality policy very clearly. And at the same time, you have to recognize the quality goals with the different parties. Processes and responses to obtain goal are implemented or managed within a linkage of handoff among processes. Strategy to consider process and products are identified and implemented. The process for regular increment is planned, implemented, and monitored for effectiveness. Those are the features. Management for verification of the process and products are clearly defined and understood within the business. It will generate different type of benefits. It will generate different type of benefits. When we concern about the society, when we concern about the suppliers, when we concern about the owners of the organization, when we concern about the employees who are working with the organization, it provides different type of benefit to the different parties. It's provide different type of benefit to different parties. Not by just by considering the organization, we don't want to recognize the benefit of it. With the workforce, we can recognize it will help to develop a very good working conditions of the organization. It's a better working conditions. It will automatically help the job satisfaction. That organization is going to increase the organization is going to develop the employees. They are going to set the very secure environment for people. The working conditions and the other facilities that organization is going to set with that quality standards, it automatically increase the job satisfaction. When we concern about the employees, it increases the return of the investment. That is the ultimate target of the owners. They want to get maximum for their investment. This ISO 9000 will help to increase that. It will help to increase that investment. It will help to increase the market share because that ISO 9000 help to increase the level of trust among the customers. Because of that trust, customers are going to buy it. Then automatically increase the market share. If market share increase means other side increase the profit also. In addition to the market share increase, it will help to increase the profit. We have a process-oriented organization. Increase the employees are engaged for the activities. that customer leader has given clear vision and direction to the organization. Everyone focus on the customer satisfaction, making decision based on the information, evaluate the organization based on the different type of performances, not depending on the final single side of one angle performances. Develop a very good relationship with the suppliers and other organizations. They are going to provide relevant document, relevant material in relevant required quality and required time to the required place. Likewise, every time we can see, it will help to minimize the cost of the organization. Then automatically it will help to increase the profit. Other side, you have maintained a quality. Then it will help to charge more because people are happy to pay something more for the quality output. Suppliers or partners will benefited by stability and the growth. If the principal organization has a stability, it will help to the suppliers also to it will help to the supply organizations to continue to supply the materials. If it is not that, if the principal organization is not stable, there is no security of the future business. It will help the growth, because if the main business organization supply is going to the customer is going to, the customer has a growth in their business, automatically the suppliers have growth because they have to submit the raw material to make it. Society will be benefited by different ways, because that organization is going to make a product and services according to the very rule and regulations set by the authorities. It will help to say health and safety. They are not going to damage the society. They will concern about the pollutions. They will reduce the environmental impact. They can that environment level of security will be increased both because of those things. What are the advantage of it? What are the advantage of ISO? It helps to identify risk and opportunities to the organization. That is the way that prevent the problems from the recurring. It will help to boost your market and the sales efforts. It will help to increase the employee performance. It will help to control over the business. You have a better idea about the entire process of the organization. The final conclusion of the lecture is the quality standards are the requirements of the guidelines in order to meet the expectation of the client or customer. The standards are the requirement or the guidelines in order to meet the expectation of the clients. ISO 9000 is a quality management standard used by all organizations to meet the need of the customer in order to meet the quality standard of the product or service. ISO 9000 quality management standard used by all organizations to meet the need of the standard in order to meet the quality standards of the product or service. ISO 9000 is also helpful to supplier society and increase the loyalty and brand name of the market. Brand name of the market. Today it has become a marketing promotional tool. However, it is not the final expectation, but today we can see it has become a marketing tool. Thank you very much for your kind attention. Have a nice day.